Thanksgiving by Stella Bagwell. There's no major trigger warnings in this. There is some feed the world kind of bullshit. There's also like a lot of strictly enforced gender rules, some forceful kissing, some just fucking gaslighting by this goddamn dick of a dude. Yo, this book sucks. This book fucking sucks.
It's kind of like Catholic guilt, but they're not Catholic, so they don't know how to do guilt right. So it's like really overt guilt. You know, it's not like the little like seeds of guilt that, you know, Catholic mamas always plant. So it's very like guilt heavy.
Happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Yes.
This is our, I guess, turkey coma book.
Oh my gosh, yes. It's yes, this book is our tryptophan turd.
Yeah, it's a turkey, but I don't mean like, you know, I mean like a bad movie turkey. And like all bad movies, it's not actually so bad it's good, because those aren't bad movies. It's just fucking boring. I have the hardest time reading this book. I kept on like finding anything else to do but to read this book. I got to the end of Twitter. I ran out of Twitter.
This is going to be a Sarah banger, y'all.
Yeah.
So in terms of that, what we're drinking, really, I'm just drinking something because I know this is going to be a Sarah banger, and I've got to steel myself because there's going to be a lot of outrage flying. But yeah, how are you doing? How was your Thanksgiving?
Oh, it was fine. You know, we just, somehow I managed to cook for 4 people without taking like 80 fucking work hours, like these morons in this book.
Yes, this book, they do not know how to like cook for, again, 5?
It's 5 people.
Yeah.
It's 5 damn people.
So before we get started, we want to say thank you to our new Patreons. We have Mira and Zoe who have joined our Patreon. So thank you very much for joining. And if you guys want to throw some support our way, you can always go to patreon.com/bodicetipplers. We have all different kinds of levels. So let's get into their first Thanksgiving.
Let's tell us a little about Stella Bagwell.
Okay, Stella Bagwell. Stella Bagwell, she began her career almost by accident. She was a hairdresser and worked in her sister's beauty shop. Ironically, Stella developed a severe allergy to hairspray and was forced to resign.
I can't believe it. Nobody in the 80s. Oh my God, that would have been terrible.
When she was 17, she married her high school sweetheart, Harold. The couple has always lived in southeastern Oklahoma. Recently,
Harold Bagwell?
Harold Bagwell. Oh, Harold. Recently, they purchased a portion of a 2,200-acre ranch. They now make their home there. Her plan for the future is to continue writing romance as long as there's an audience to enjoy her work.
I give her credit, because most people named Stella Bagwell would have picked a pen name.
Yeah.
She stuck with it.
So basically what she centers around are Western romances, you know, the strong, silent type and the women who love them. So Stella Bagwell, this is their first Thanksgiving.
I know you wanted to get a Thanksgiving book. The thing is, I don't understand why there's not more Thanksgiving vintage romances. I can think of like 1,000 ways to bring Thanksgiving into this kind of thing. But this isn't it.
It's distinctly not a sexy, like, holiday because of the amount of food that you eat.
And also, you had to stick your hand in that frozen turkey. And I mean, I guess there's something sexual about it, but not sexy.
Save the neck for
like,
me.
When you pull that frozen neck out of it, like, that'll turn you off of sex for a long time. At least like sex with men. If you like to have sex with women, on the other hand, you're golden. You don't, that's not going to put you off.
I don't know. I think it's going to put anybody off. And I don't, you know what? I'm sure that our bisexual and lesbian listeners really love that you just equated lesbian sex with pulling the neck out of the frozen
I equated
turkey hole.
I'm just saying that if you have to look at the neck you pulled out of the frozen turkey hole, you would maybe not then want to look at a penis.
I don't want to look at the frozen neck. Yeah. Anyway, so
I meant that that experience would not be tied up in your experience of having sex with somebody who's not a penis.
Fair enough.
That's what I meant there.
We're batting 1,000.
Yeah, it's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You want me to read this back cover?
I do. I do want you to read it.
After all these years, and then there's a long ellipsis. Olivia Westcott was home. No, she's not. Or at least that's how she felt when she arrived at the Gallagher's farm for Thanksgiving. Olivia had left to pursue a career halfway around the world, yet she'd never forgotten the generosity of the Gallagher family. All the Gallaghers but one, that is. Sexy, stubborn Sam Gallagher, the man whose pride had stood in the way of their love. That's also not exactly what happened. Oh, my God. How dare Olivia set foot on Gallagher land? Sam couldn't believe her nerve. 4 years ago, she'd spurned his proposal and left him alone. Sam vowed he'd never give Olivia the satisfaction of knowing she'd hurt him. But how could he resist the attraction that was stronger than ever? Heartland Holidays. Come home for the holidays and stay for the love. So this is part of a silhouette, I guess, like kind of like sub-brand called Heartland Holidays. So it's like romances about like Trump people.
I guess so.
Yeah.
I just looked at the date on this, and it makes it even worse. Because I thought this book was much earlier than it is.
What is it?
1992.
Oh, no. I would also like to point out, it has a recipe in the beginning, but the recipe, like before the book starts, has maple-flavored syrup in it. Okay, that's the kind of fucking book this is. So the cover, it's got like this kind of silhouette, obviously branded cover, so it's got like just kind of a small picture. But the picture is... absolutely. Well, it depends on how old you are if you resonate with this picture. You can see like they're standing in a dining room. This dude who looks like the idiot from the Guiding Light book that we read, and a lady who looks like all the young teachers I had in school. And they're standing in front of like a china hutch that's got that blue willow stuff on it. And there's a mini blinds and a window behind them with that kind of swag thing.
Oh yeah, this is a French country.
Yeah,
inspired.
There's ducks somewhere in this kitchen.
There's definitely ducks with bonnets.
Waterfowl everywhere.
Ducks with bonnets.
There's probably one of those wallpaper borders that has waterfowl on it in the kitchen.
The ducks with the bonnet.
Yeah. Oh my god.
And the duck has like the little pink bow on the blue bonnet.
Oh yeah. And in the bathroom, like you don't know what you're allowed to touch.
Yes.
I know this house really well.
Yes. There's like that dark, like the dark paneling on the walls.
And it smells kind of weird.
Yeah.
But it doesn't smell weird if you live there. But if yeah. You guys. Okay. Let me get ready to explain what happens in this book. Because nothing happens in this book except for these women cooking all the time. But things do, I guess, theoretically occur mostly before this book happened. So, Olivia was going to college in Arkansas. This all takes place in Arkansas. And she was roommates with Kathleen Gallagher, who seems like a nice girl. But Olivia is studying, they don't make it clear what her degree is actually in, but it's something to do with international development. So she really wants to go and help starving people around the world. Like, that's her life's ambition. And that, like, she has a shitty family, which I really hate the idea that she has to have a shitty family to want to help people anywhere.
I really thought that this book came off the tail end of We Are the World, because it's a very We Are the World book.
Yeah.
Like,
they say Africa. She was actually in Ethiopia, which is a real country, at least. They didn't make one up. But like most of the time,
and it did have a famine problem. Like, there was a very serious problem with famine. So, like, I guess at least comparatively, with our other books where we're just in like vague Central America, the country of Central America, that we've all become, we're all geography experts because of the books that we have read. She at least gives us a real country. But
almost nobody says Ethiopia throughout the whole book. They're like, you're going back to Africa? Well, when you went to Africa and all. If I went to Tokyo and spent 5 years in Tokyo, would everybody be like, you going back to Asia? How long has Sarah been in Asia?
Those Arkansas people can't say Ethiopia. Sarah.
Africa's a huge continent. They're acting like it's one place.
The Ozark people can't say that.
So anyway, that's her life's dream, and she is working hard to make it a reality. She is in school for this. She is getting her degree in it. She goes home for Thanksgiving. Like, I guess they've just graduated or something, because...
and please, like, what Sarah is explaining right now is not in, like...
No, this is all backstory.
Yeah.
So Kathleen's farm family. And
family.
It must be, like, literally, like, right after they graduate, because she's about to go to Africa. And she meets Kathleen's brother, Sam. It was not clear to me until halfway through the book that they had only known each other for 3 weeks.
Yes.
3 weeks at the end of her college experience. And she walks in and she says, "Hi, I'm Olivia. I just got my degree in..." Let's go with international development. And I'm about to go to Ethiopia to do something that she never explains what she does, but let's assume that it's a real job.
I think she's like, she's going to be a relief worker. And I feel like, it's international development, but there's also like a lot of like human health services part of it, because she does like understand the science behind nutrition and things like that.
But they never say what her job was there.
No.
Never, which is really infuriating to me. They just see pictures of her that sound like those postcards that you get from UNICEF, like of her like unloading grain and stuff, and like little children with flies in their eyes, but like never. It sounds like the most exploitative photo album I've ever seen. Why would you take pictures of the starving children you couldn't save? Anyway, like, table that. But so she meets Sam, who is Kathleen's brother. Kathleen has 2 brothers, Nick and Sam. They spend 3 weeks together. They fall in love. And then he's like, I want you to stay with me. I want you to get married and be a farm wife with me because I'm going to inherit this farm. And she's like, I fucking told you I have a degree and I'm going to go use my degree with this job I have in Africa. You can come to Africa with me if you want to. Well, he never forgives her.
No.
Yeah, like seriously, he tries to make her feel bad about this through the whole book, and I wanted to slap him so hard. So she goes to Africa.
Go to Africa. Just go to Africa.
Yeah, just like get off when the train says Africa. But and she spends 4 years there. And she's clearly at the beginning of the book. She has come back to Arkansas. She's burned out. She got sick. But she's like more than that. Like she's not going back because she got seriously burned out. Partly because there was nobody to love her.
Yeah, she's, you know, you get the feeling that she's recovering from, like, again, our hot place, our hot country, you know, vague sweating disease that they all get. I'm assuming it's malaria. I don't know.
I do actually know somebody who went to the Peace Corps in Africa and did come back with a disease that continues to cause major health problems with them. But that they don't specify or anything, and they don't specify anything, so it doesn't matter. Anyway, she's back in Arkansas, and meanwhile, Kathleen, her old roommate, husband died very suddenly in a plane wreck. He
John Denvered.
He John Denvered in. And so Kathleen's having a hard time, too. And these are actually real things to have real hard times about.
Yeah.
Like you burning out on what you thought you wanted to do for the rest of your life. Hey, maybe her job was just badly structured. Maybe she had no institutional support. I don't know. But like for her, it's love. So Kathleen invites her, will you please come to Thanksgiving with my family? And she comes because Kathleen is obviously just like really not dealing well with her grief and her situation. So she comes and of course Sam's there. Dun dun dun. And none of them told the other how close they didn't even tell the other anybody else that they were were they dating or were they just fucking? I don't know.
I don't know what they were doing.
So all the rest of the fucking book is just them having arguments in different places. That's literally it. Like it's that, and then but
not even fun places. It's just like places around. Like it's basically where me and my husband get into arguments. Yeah. It's like here's an argument in the hallway. Oh, you want an argument in the kitchen? We got that. Oh, how about an argument on the back porch? We got you covered. Oh, we're walking out to the car and arguing. We're gonna argue there too.
Yeah.
Oh. By the post office, by the mailbox, got it. Like it's basically
they have the same argument over and over and over.
Scenes from a marriage kind of situation. Yeah.
The thing is, like, he is so gaslighting shitty. For one, he's like, "You left me. I can't believe you left me. Like, I told you I was leaving. You could have come." And then there's one point where she says, "I just kind of thought you would have a bunch of children because you're." The dad, his dad is done. He's retired now and going to move down with his brother. So the farmhouse is going to be Sam's. I thought this would be full of children. Well, it's not because I thought they'd be yours. He blames her 4 years later after they were together for 3 weeks. For not having any babies for him. This guy is terrible.
3 weeks.
The only other thing that happens in this book is that all the women of the house, specifically the women of the house, it is implicit, not just it's explicitly gendered, that they're all like, she can't cook. I mean, somebody says to her at the dining room table, you can't cook, are making Thanksgiving for 5 people. And it takes them...
a week.
Yes. And I mean, it takes me a week because I do a little 15 minutes every night. I do my cranberry sauce a week ahead and then I make a gravy.
I felt like they were feeding the troops. I thought that this was going to be all the ranch hands coming in or something and then feeding 45 people, but it was just them. And yeah, it's just so the thing that's weird about it too is just the sister eventually finds out that they had a brief thing and starts trying to put them in situations that
which
are just
not. And
they're also
stop doing it.
They're also decidedly unsexy. It's hey, why don't you guys go down to the root cellar
and pick out a pumpkin?
Pick out the sexiest pumpkin. I don't want to go down to the root cellar. The root cellar is always dank and dark and gross.
Or actually sends her to the neighbor lady who you get the impression is a young, attractive woman, to their house to take her firewood. Why don't y'all go together?
Yes, and it was just and then. The girl, Olivia, gets all weirdly jealous. Why aren't you with this woman? And it is very strange. And also, the way that the dialogue is written is nobody talks this way.
No.
Nobody talks this way at all. And you find out Olivia's parents are very rich, but they're also very cold and withholding because, that's how they are. And always in these books. And, you know, Sam is all like, oh, you're a poor little rich girl who just wanted to go out and, you know.
He accuses her life's work of being because she wanted to prove to her parents that she didn't have to have their money.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, is fairly noble. I mean, I'm not saying that, like, everybody who is an aid worker is, like, an angel or whatever, but the idea that your parents are super wealthy and you don't like the way that they use their money.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that.
And then you find out that she had written letters to him.
Mm-hmm.
She had written letters basically be like, as soon as she, and like, this is on her, as soon as she gets to Ethiopia and realizes like, oh shit, this is real. Like, I'm in it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, she basically writes him as like, I've made a mistake. Take me back.
He literally returns them. He doesn't just put them in the trash. He returns the sender. And will they even return us to sender internationally? To Addis Ababa?
I mean, I guess so, because she got him. And like,
did he pay for extra postage?
I don't, probably just spite postage. I'll show her. That's a very Catholic thing. That is a very Catholic thing.
Airmail guilt. Yeah,
like, we would spite postage, like, but you know. And he finds out, like, if he had just read the letter and like written her and said, "Come on back here," she'd have come on back there. You know, like,
well, that would have been bad for her because he sucks.
Oh no, I mean, he does suck, but I'm just saying, like, you know, because he was all, I'm too good. Yeah. None of it makes sense because he's all like, you just left. And she's like, but I wrote you.
Mm-hmm.
And
also, I didn't just leave. I told you when I met you, that I had plane tickets for like April 1st or whatever.
Yeah.
And then
like,
what the fuck is wrong with you, dude?
I know.
And then like it's all like there's all this stuff about how like, well, a really good farm wife has to know how to make pies. She doesn't know how to make pies. Anyway, they make a pumpkin pie the dumbest way possible. Don't fucking like peel a damn pumpkin. Just cut it in half and you scoop the seeds out and you roast it, and then you don't have to do any of that shit. But they don't know that because they're all a sack of idiots who like working hard.
I was also like, but bitch, just buy some cam. You know, I also don't like, I feel like they're probably a cattle ranch or something. And it's just like, okay, you guys are just growing every single thing. Like,
oh, yeah. I mean, like it's not like a specific, and most romance novels are better about that.
Yeah.
Like most Western romances are very clear on like what kind of like
what kind of farm it is, and talks about the seriousness of running a farm. Like, at least the ones that we have done in the past have been like, hey, you know that this is a business. This felt very like trying to be,
I'm the heartland of America.
Yeah, exactly.
Why God made a farmer.
And so it gets like towards the, you know, Thanksgiving has come and gone.
Oh no, it's Thanksgiving night. This is the part that really burned my fucking biscuits. So he sees on TV, he turns on the football game, and I guess the news breaks in every so often to the football game while the women are cleaning up, by the way.
Oh yeah, they have.
And that they're like, of course, like the news always does, they show down at the local shelter like all the big volunteer dinner, and he's like, he gets an idea, like, shit, we got poor people in Arkansas. And so he drags her down there without telling her where they're going or what, and says, we're going to volunteer here, and so that way you can still be a farm wife and make me pies, but then on the one day of the year when nobody needs extra volunteers to feed the hungry, we're going to volunteer here. And so that's just like your, I assume, specialized training for whatever important job you were doing in Ethiopia.
It's super wild.
Yeah, it made me, oh my God, it made me so angry, because I assume that what she was doing was not like one of those things where you just show up and, sorry, y'all who are in the Peace Corps, but a lot of those Peace Corps jobs are like, oh, okay, you can do something that's sort of semi-skilled, that she has like something that she does that she's an expert at, and that she was like in a, like, I don't know, like supervising a refeeding clinic or something like that, and oh yeah, you can just transfer that to helping, you know, people experiencing homelessness in Arkansas, because it's totally the same thing, because we don't respect whatever you're doing at all whatsoever.
Yes.
Like, it's not a completely different skill set. I mean, like, you know, I mean, I can, obviously, if you are an experienced grant writer, awesome. You can take that here, but, or if you're a giant kitchen manager or something like that, but it's not the same fucking thing, and they act like it totally is. Like it's their hobby or something.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it just made me incredibly angry. But anyway, he proposes and she says yes. And that's it. Oh, and they're going to have a Christmas wedding.
Oh yeah, there's gonna be a Christmas wedding.
But throughout all this, there's like hints about like a better, more interesting book. Like Kathleen's marriage was obviously really unhappy. Like her husband really sucked, but you just get little hints of that.
Yeah, he was very rich. Like she's got a big fancy house,
but she hates it.
with tennis courts. And,
she won't say it, but she hates it.
And then there's a brother that I think might probably have a book too.
And then oh my God, their mother is so fucking emotionally like manipulative about that.
Yeah.
Okay, so Nick is in the army. and he can't make it home for Thanksgiving because that happens in the army sometimes. And she just wants to make everybody else fucking miserable about it. She's crying in the kitchen while she's making 18 more pies. Like, oh my God, shut your hole, bitch.
The best part, the one like Sam line is she's like, he's not gonna have Thanksgiving dinner, and Sam's like, I'm pretty sure the army is gonna like feed him. He's like, I don't think he's just gonna have to. He's on a base. He's not gonna have to eat like rations.
Yeah, he's not like a snake eater over in Afghanistan.
He's like, I think they're gonna have to She's like, he's like, I figure they'll rustle up some pies for him.
The army actually puts out a big fucking spread for people who are stuck at bases over Thanksgiving.
This book was boring but yet terrible at the same time.
It's and like the other weird thing that doesn't fit into any of our plot lines, so I would just want to point it out right here, is that like they come into the living room and the mom and dad, who I guess are in their like 60s or 70s, like everybody else is on the couch, but the mom's on the dad's lap.
It was very strange. Yeah.
Want to point that out. It's also the kind of book where nobody just wears clothes. Everybody's clad in something. Everybody's like his jeans clad legs and like,
denim clad legs.
Like she opened the door like and regarded Kathleen's body, slim body clad in like, oh, shut up. Just wear clothes like a normal goddamn person. So anyway, that is this stupid book. This book is 185 pages long. And I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but this was all the plot that's in it.
Yeah, we gave it to you.
Yeah. We can usually take a silhouette and talk about it for 2 hours.
Nope.
That's it. That's like literally fucking it. It is the same argument in different locations.
Again, it's just like basically it's like a week at the Rounds house. Like it's the same argument in different locations.
It did feel uncomfortably like somebody's family at Thanksgiving. People keep walking into their argument.
Like, what's going on here?
I've certainly done that at other people's houses, and it was extremely unpleasant.
Yes, no, it was so boring.
So, anyway, I can't believe you made me read this book.
Hey, man. Their first Thanksgiving.
Big dick energy or big dick energy?
I'm going to let you go on this.
I hated this man so much. Like, all he does is try to, like, put the whole thing on her. Like, he'd known you for 3 weeks. He, like, hey, this is the guy you don't want. This is, you know this is going to be bad news. Like, don't ever, like, go with a dude who you've known for 3 weeks who then for the next 4 years fucking hates your ass for leaving and doing what you said you were going to do anyway. Like, he just...
They're like 25 and they're acting like they're ancient. Like, why did you never marry? Why did you, like, he's 25. That's why he didn't get married. He's 25. He's young. You're young.
The whole thing. I mean, like, he doesn't respect her work at all. No. Like, it actually takes through the whole book for him to realize that she's kind of serious about helping people.
When he saw the photo album.
Yeah. Like she's going through it with him, and he's telling him about this child who was brought in, starving and sick by his mother, and that he dies, and like, oh wow, so like that sounds rough. Like, yeah, it sounds fucking rough. You fucking idiot. She's been in the middle of a famine for 4 years, and she's incredibly burned out, and like. You obviously did that just to piss your parents off.
Yeah.
Like, wow, you got to be dedicated to pissing your parents off.
Exactly.
Oh, my God.
Okay, would you talk shit with her about the heroin?
There's no there.
I did not enjoy her either, because just as, like, terrible as he was, she was pretty fucking terrible, too, because, like... Obviously, she is going through some severe trauma, which, is very valid. It is very valid trauma. But also, I'm like... What kind of organization was she with? Her first vacation in 4 years is 4 years.
Yeah.
Like, usually these places would have, like, a rotational, like,
you got to take care of people because people will burn up like that.
Yeah, I was like, what did she just find, like...
Yeah, it sounds like the problem is not necessarily with her work, but with, the people she works for. And it's her only personality trait. Like, describe Olivia without describing her job.
Exactly.
You can't.
It was very, like, the dialogue in this was very, very strange, like, the way that people talk to each other.
It was like bad soap opera dialogue.
Yeah. And the tryptophan is kicking in. I think he makes what could have been valid points, but they're done so shittily. Like, I think, like, with the going to the stupid... homeless shelter or something. Like, there could have been a really interesting way to be like, hey, you know, there are people here that are in crisis that, like, because she's decided she's not going back to Africa. But, like, if you want to help, if you still want to be part of this, there are people who are in crisis that you could use your
And it's not
blah,
like
blah, blah.
dipping out, like, cranberry sauce. Like, if it had been like, hey, okay, so let's look at turning half of this farm into a, you know, like a
Something.
whatever. Yeah, I mean, that would have made much more sense.
But, yeah, she's just so... Everybody in this is just so, like... cardboard.
Yeah, I did not care for it. And I mean, especially since, like, it's not even just that he's like, there's people who are hungry at home too. The book obviously thinks it's more appropriate for it to be here, you know?
Yes, yeah, that's the thing. It's like, well, you should come home. I mean, and maybe she should, because, like, from the sounds of it, she was 18 and was like, well, I'm just going to go do this, and really hadn't given any actual thought to what this is. And, you know, by the end of it, she's just all, you know, shell-shocked. But I feel like if you're going to do this, if this is going to be the career path that you take and you go to school specifically for this, they probably have in your junior and senior year opportunities for you to go to other, maybe not Africa, but to go to other places where there is severe wealth disparity and to other, like, developing nations, and you kind of dip your feet in it. You know, like, you go to Haiti for a week and be like, okay, is this something that I really want to do? You know, like, I feel like she was just like, well, I'm just going to go to Africa. Like, she didn't give it any thought. And then she got to Africa.
Feel, like, to be more charitable to her character, I kind of feel that maybe it's the kind of thing that she had made her identity for so long.
Yeah, but I mean, still.
And that she didn't feel like she could back out.
But I mean, still, like, it's, you know, she's a literal white savior, little blonde, like, going to Africa to save people. So both of them kind of deserve each other, in my opinion.
Anybody who would settle for him, frankly, kind of deserves it, you know? I mean, because literally what he is saying to her is, you need to be able to make pie, clean up for making pie, and you can indulge your little hobby of dishing out stuffing on Thanksgiving. And she's like, sounds good to me. I just want to kiss you.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I feel really sorry for her because I have a feeling that this is going to go bad in a hurry.
Yeah.
But Bechdel to bitch. Okay, this is something that this book does pretty well because often these silhouettes, well, probably because there's no plot that has room to do this, but like often there's no room for other characters in these series romances. And both the mother and the sister Kathleen, they spend a lot of time talking about lots of stuff like pies, like mostly pies.
But they also talk about, like, jobs and grief and, you know, like, this kind of stuff. So, I mean, it does pass it, even though it's a terrible example of things.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's I thought Kathleen was a much more interesting person, just all told, than any of these people. And her grief seems like much more fully realized and all. Yeah. So I don't, but I'm sure in her own book it's also terrible.
Yeah,
so
I feel like this was like I feel like this was a setup for, you know, maybe some other books about these other two siblings.
Well, maybe they leave the farm, but I doubt it.
God.
Because it's a Heartland Holidays. It kind of feels like one of those Cletus safaris where the New York Times goes to the same goddamn gas station in Pennsylvania.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. These are good people of the soil.
Yeah.
When it comes to consent, is this book more Robin Thicke or Marvin Gaye? There is, like, one really aggressive kiss that she's fighting him, but then she melts.
Yes.
Otherwise... they're both just, like, terrible at each other, so I don't... He's more terrible, though.
They all suck. Okay. How badly are you judging your mama for reading this? My mama would have been like, this book has no heat. She would have not enjoyed it. This was not one of hers. She liked,
She liked that doing it.
Like, she didn't really do a whole lot of Heartland or Westerns, you know?
For me, a Western has to have more, like a contemporary Western as opposed to a cowboy Western, like a, historical Western. It's got to have more to it than this. Like, I liked the Danielle Steele one that we read. Yeah. Because it had more to it than just, like, are y'all going to get married?
Or even, like, proving that you can do small ones are, like, Novella from Last Christmas. You know, that book put a lot.
That was really fun.
That book put a lot in it in, like, 150 pages.
Yeah, it was shorter than this.
Yeah.
Would Scarlett Johansson be in the movie? This is where we can talk about Africa.
We can.
No African person's name is in this book.
No.
I mean, like, to even, like zoom out even more, no, it doesn't even say, of course, what she does in Africa, but it doesn't even, like, it doesn't give the name of anybody she worked with. Whereas we know the names of all the fucking neighbors. Lucille is over, and Allison is at her grandmother's for Thanksgiving, so I had to know that now, But, like, not like, I worked outside of Addis Ababa. I did, like, I staffed a refeeding clinic. I, was involved in distributing.
She was just in Africa.
Whatever. She was just in Africa.
Yeah.
It's a very, very feed the world.
Yeah.
But like the thing, it just really bothered me that she talks about a specific child. Yeah. And she was obviously very attached. But the author didn't manage to even look up like a name for a child. like the child is completely unnamed.
I mean, it's completely dehumanizing, marginalized, like a marginalized group just to make the author or this character in it, the good white lady.
Yeah, it really pissed me off. I absolutely did. Like just the way that they say Africa all the time instead of Ethiopia.
Yeah.
Like, just that in itself is all that you really need to know. And then it also kind of dehumanizes people who are experiencing homelessness here in America.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Fuck you. Fuck you, this book. You're not leaving the house looking like that. I dog-eared some outfits.
We get some good outfits. She's like in a J. Jill skirt, basically.
Oh, yeah, I like the J. Jill skirt look, but this is my favorite one. This is when he sees her for the first time in 4 years. The first thing Sam noticed was that her blonde hair was pulled back into a tight French braid. There were faint shadows of fatigue under her eyes, but they were hardly enough to detract from her beauty. She was dressed in jeans and a black sweater with a reindeer applique on the chest. She must have purchased winter clothing since she returned to the States, he thought. They were obviously new and of the latest fashion. Sam's eyes traveled over every petite curve as she moved into the kitchen. There's also a bit where he's working under a tractor and she shows up and he sees first her suede flats and then her jeans, which is a moment that I recall clearly from the early 90s. So I can't really. But yeah, she's got this like hot J. Jill number on like later in the book. Yeah. That's like that's certainly like worthwhile. Oh yeah, here we go. Now she had on a V-neck cranberry sweater. And even though he couldn't see the lower half of her now, he'd seen enough before she sat down to give him plenty to think about. The gathered skirt she had on was long, covering the tops of her suede boots. I had both of these. But the material was a soft, clingy sort that cuddled her bottom like a gloved hand.
So uncomfortable.
Oh my God. Like, no, that's the least sexy. No, it's not the least sexy thing. I have the least sexy thing dog-eared also. Yeah, so there are some outfits, and they will bring you back to the day of when you had to pick out something to go to church in, but your mom would let you go to the Limited.
Yeah, she's got her Sam and Libby's on.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's what that is. Or her knockoff ones from Belk.
Yeah, well, I think...
maybe.
God, this book.
I had those little elf boots, and I loved them so much. Mine were black suede.
Very fancy.
So, would your 12-year-old self have dog-eared anything?
I'd have been so mad going through all this thing. There is nothing.
It's really horny, though. I mean, like, they don't have any sex, but it's one of those books where they use the word erotic, which is always the least erotic thing.
But
like,
all we get is like
distract yourself from her erotic thoughts.
It's just a kiss. That's all you get.
Kissing. Yeah,
just kissing. There's nothing else. There's not even there's not even finger banging. Nothing. Nothing. They don't even finger bang when they go get the pumpkins. Like, that's prom. In the root cellar? Root cellar. Rooting? Get rooting in the root cellar. Nothing. I was like, what? Okay, this is the end of I was like, this motherfucking book. Like, I read this whole thing. I dealt with that old bitch making that turkey for 25 years, it seems like. And, like, 1,000 pecan pies. And everybody talking about pecan pie, like, in a way that people don't talk about. Let's all sit down and we should sneak and have some pecan pie. Like,
nobody put their fingers in any pies.
No adults talk about this. And, like, no.
And we had to watch as much football in this fucking book as people do.
I know.
It was terrible.
God, everybody in this book was so just lame. Like, when they show up, the mom's like, I feel like Mom could be a good time girl. She got out of the kitchen because she was like, let's have some wine. And the dad's like, why would we have wine? And,
to deal with your ass.
We don't drink spirits in this house.
They got up early before the Thanksgiving parade started to wait for it to start.
I was like, everybody in this book sucks.
And then she acts like she's like she's from Addis Ababa because she's like, do they still have balloons at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade? Like, how long were you away? 4 years?
I mean, I know they had a satellite.
Not fucking Rip Van Winkle.
Jesus, it was terrible. And I was like, again, this bitch has not been back to the United States in 4 years. Not or anywhere but Africa for 4 years. Mm. Like, she didn't go like for a weekend in
Greece or
Oh yeah.
Or even just like she's out in the countryside and goes for a weekend to Addis Ababa.
Yes. Or like goes down to South Africa. goes down to Cape Town, hangs out for a minute. You know, like something. Go somewhere. She is just in a tent for 4 years with sad, dying children around her.
But it doesn't matter because she doesn't learn any of their names.
No, it's all fine.
I guess she learned not a word of Amharic, you know? I mean...
Yeah, so like we go through this whole thing and there's nothing.
But it talks about how horny they are constantly.
Just a winter wet.
Like, and they're grown-ups, and they're always alone. They could just, like, fucking...
It could be in the root cellar. I thought there was going to be, like, because there's a lot of, like, hey... hanging out in your bedroom because we got a lot of nightgown outfits.
And there was like he gets hurt, and so there's like the bandaging scene, and I thought that was going to turn into something, but it didn't.
Yeah.
No, they just had erotically charged thoughts.
Like he like drove a nail through his hand, and he's like, "I'm fine, it's fine." She's like, "You really should get some stitches." No, I don't need you telling me what to do. I was like, this thing would have like gotten infected and gotten gangrene by the time.
It's worse than a nail. He caught a falling piece of tin. Yes. You can absolutely lose your hand doing that.
It was so stupid.
Oh my god. This fucking book.
What pairs nicely with a dumpster fire?
You know they were drinking like reuniti on ice.
Pecan pie.
Just pecan pie.
Just pecan pie. Dry pecan pie with nothing to drink with it.
Like where it's like, it's so far beyond too sweet that it's
and
like...
it's like you're just like... And you're doing that number, you don't have anything to, like, wash it down with. That's what it is. Mm-hmm. That's what it is. So, but before we get to our last question, what is the unsexiest line of the book?
Oh, I forgot. No, you have to... well, I know you already sent it to me, but our listeners have to hear it. Are y'all ready? This is... I know that you're thinking the bar is really high.
Yes.
But no. This is the least sexy thing anybody's ever written in any book whatsoever. They're having one of their arguments. They're really close together. They're yelling at each other. Damn it, you're hurting me now. Do you understand that? Olivia didn't have a chance to even think about answering. His lips swooped down on hers like a hungry hawk savaging its prey.
Hawk kiss.
Oh, no.
Whenever you describe someone's mouth as a beak.
Yeah, I'm picturing like that mean old grandpa kiss, like
yes.
like a hard denture peck, like a...
It was like being punched.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh my god. Yes. So, should a human being in the year 2021 read this book?
Absolutely not.
No. This needs to just go in the trash. So, you know what? I might just burn this thing tonight.
Usually, I put these in little free libraries.
No.
Not this one. I would not do that to my neighborhood little free library. No. It's so bad.
And just throw the whole man and the whole book away.
Which, I mean, I don't understand why we have had such a hard time finding Thanksgiving books, because there's a lot of, like in our Christmas books, that, you know, having sex in your childhood bed, like all that kind of business, you know? Mm. But not this one. And
let me see, like, honestly, like, the night before Thanksgiving in your early 20s used to be the best time, because you'd come home and you go out to, like, the bar, and all, like, the cool people that you used to hang out with would be out. Like, that's the perfect, like, reconnection time, is to make that story.
And, like, second chance romance is usually, like, a fun trope.
Yeah, no, this was terrible. Terrible.
Well, I was not invested in their first chance romance. I was like, oh, thank God. If you have to go to Addis Ababa to get away from this guy, you should do that.
No, it was awful.
Ugh.
So this has been our tryptophan turd. Their first Thanksgiving. You can find us as usual on Twitter at BTipplers, Facebook Bodice Tipplers, BodiceTipplers.com. You can find us on Instagram, Bodice Tipplers. And again, you can join our Patreon, which is patreon.com/BodiceTipplers. We have multiple levels you can join at. And if you want to support us but don't have the, financial means, we totally get it. Another good way to do it is to leave a review and rate us wherever you listen to your podcast. Y'all have a happy post-Thanksgiving malaise.
Yeah, enjoy your leftovers. Yeah. We promise the next book will be better.
Don't make promises you can't keep.
That's true. Bodice Tipplers is part of the Frolic Network. Find more podcasts you'll love at frolic.media/podcasts.